So we get asked all the time about our storage containers when it comes to the pantry, and when we decant, what do we do with the instructions or the expiration date, all of those things. So what we do, and really it's a personal preference on what you want to decant or not, and if you want to use plastic or glass jars. We love glass jars, but we understand too, if someone has kids, it's a little harder. So once we take everything out of the bag, we find the right appropriate jar, depending on what it is. We like to use the same jar over and over for the same content. If you know you're rebuying something often, just stick with that. And then basically when you pour it in, you're gonna cut off the directions on the back, and you can even tape it underneath or on the back. And then to go above and beyond, we also do the expiration date, whether it's with a erasable marker or a label maker. You do have to change that every time. And then we also love to label the front of what it is, so you know the contents.
So people are always asking, how do I choose what I want to decant? You often find times where people open a bag of pasta, made half of it, they try to wrap it up, throw it back in their pantry, it ends up going bad, it ends up going stale. If you decant your pasta into a jar like this, you want to use half, you want to take a little cup from it, you know, the lid keeps it airtight, everything stays fresh. And then also, if you're realistically not going to grocery shop and then pour things into these jars, we would recommend grabbing a nice bin and then labeling it and lining up all your pastas, lining up all your chips and grains. However, this, I think, creates a little bit more happiness aesthetically, but of course it needs to also be functional.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, a lot of times when you open a bag, it goes stale, so depending on what those items are. So this way it's really great for nuts and chips as well, not just rice and grains. It's really just not only what you want and prefer in jars, but matching your aesthetics to your vibe of your house or the pantry. Again, if you have little kids, glass is a little harder, but you can always raise them in the pantry. It's just a really clean look, and it does save you so much money in the end because things aren't going stale all the time. You can see everything, so you know what you have in your pantry, and it makes for getting dinner and lunches and whatnot prepared much faster. So whenever we do a pantry, we always get asked what labels we use. We actually do a lot of our own handwriting. We have a pen that will link up down here if you want to swipe up, but it's really nice because it's not permanent, so you can erase it pretty often whenever you're changing out things. And then of course writing expiration on the back, or even if you have a cooking instructions that are just 10 to 15 minutes, instead of cutting off the whole thing, you can just write it right on the back and call it a day.